Hello and welcome to this episode of Kennedy Saves the World. It's Monday, it's President's Day, and I'm wearing an Ohio University mom shirt.
Oh, can I give you a President's Day joke?
Please, yes.
The late, great Charles Osgood, CBS Sunday Morning.
Yep.
I drove him in a cab once. He got in my cab, so I met him. So we said
Wow.
hello. He goes, no work, no responsibility. They should call it Vice President's Day. Hey, there you go. All right. Good night, everybody.
Well done.
Shout out to Charlie O. He's listening in heaven. I know he does. They play the Kennedy Saves the World pod there.
Oh, they do.
And they stream the video, of course.
Thank you. At the all night, all day heaven
Actually, right
buffet.
at the gates. They don't actually look over your file. They play the show. And St. Peter watches you react.
Yeah.
And
If you laugh,
yeah.
Sorry, down,
So
down.
you got to go.
Done.
You got to go to the other place. Sorry about that, pal. You're in the wrong
No
line.
room here.
Thank
the inn
you.
is full.
Bang.
So it is President's Day. Tomorrow I'm going to do a podcast all about the sexiest presidents. And I'm still going over the list. I'm pretty sure who my top 3 are.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of a female president, what will a female president have to have? I feel like we demand, especially the Trump presidency, delivering what it has in a month.
Yeah.
It is unfathomable. It is incomparable.
They got a lot done.
So what does a female president have to do in order to be elected? Is it sexiness? Is it being the smartest person in the room?
Well, you need bipartisan support. So if you're a female president, you want the Democrats, you probably need a penis. No, sorry. All right, I'll show myself out. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I was just having a nice time.
Men can have babies.
Men can have
too.
babies. There it is. But anyway, you do need, because it's very fascinating. But I do think, and no one likes this, no one who consumes a Fox product likes what I'm about to say. I think the Republicans in a million years could not have physically nominated a Nikki Haley, but I think she would have gotten bipartisan support because she spoke with a compassion towards the female voter, which was, we're not going to shame you and hate you even though we're pro-life. We understand this is a difficult decision for everybody. So you need a gravitas that allows you to be credible on both sides of the aisle. I don't know what the aesthetic requirement would be, but it's never going to hurt anybody to be really good looking.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a reality. No one ever goes, God, I got to get out of this bar. These chicks are so hot. You know what I mean? Maybe
Except
me.
for other chicks.
I like, chicks will say that.
I don't know.
And I do like a good
The
Charlie.
girls in there look like hookers. We should leave.
We should get out of here. I don't like it. But no, so I think it's the gravitas to resonate on both sides of the aisle. And I do think, because obviously you need male support.
Yeah.
On a non-superficial level, on a substantive level, you do want that Margaret Thatcher quality.
Yes.
You know, the problem with Hillary is not that she didn't seem kind of tough. Hillary was just a warmonger who wanted to bomb everybody.
She wanted to kill everyone. I mean,
kill everybody.
John Bolton got the vapors.
I mean,
reading her foreign policy positions.
Was Bolton's like, we gotta rein this in.
No.
This can't go on.
No, more peace.
You think
too much?
Hillary's papers were so depressing that Jeffrey Epstein convinced his guards to fall asleep on the job and disassemble the cameras outside of his jail cell. He was in such a state of depression that just his essence disabled the cameras, knocked out the guards, and he hung himself.
Isn't that wild?
Crazy how that happens.
Yeah, he was a depressing guy. But Hillary couldn't have been our first president. And no. I was watching the election, and you and I talked about this throughout the whole thing, like, oh my God, like, I'm worried she's going to win. Like, I was really worried, and I was like, this can't, like, it has to mean something. Like, Kamala Harris can't be the first female president.
Oh, God, no.
And even, there were people in the Democratic orbit who were like, well, Joe Biden needs to step aside so she becomes the first female president.
Which cheapens it so much.
Yeah, as if it already weren't cheap enough.
Yeah, it's not a participation trophy.
Yeah.
And that's the point, is you're not making someone president for the selfie that shows them standing against the backdrop. It's because of the reverence we're supposed to have for the office and the significance of finally getting a female president into power.
Okay, go ahead. Are you going to finish that thought?
No, go ahead.
I'm looking around. Obviously, Fox has the most impressive bench in politics. And never in my life did I think that I would have in my phone the phone numbers of 4 cabinet members.
I mean, is that crazy? Yes. I mean, I have 2 of them blocked. That's how crazy it really is. Oh, is that Hegseth? I'm not taking this one. Who knows where it's going to go?
How did they unblock that call? So looking at the Fox bench, who would be the best female president from Fox?
Martha.
Yeah, I was going to say Martha MacCallum. That's the first name that came to mind.
It is absolutely positively Martha. She's so... and there are reasons, but I'll give you mine if I was going to run a campaign. Okay, there's a lot of really funny, smart, good-looking women here who could do the hell out of the job.
Sure.
But Martha has like this overall social warmth to her that is physically impossible to dislike. I'm not saying other people don't have it. I'm saying she has a gear it's a next level. Like when she's on my show, she's like, I'm talking to you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, think about that. Martha has Kennedy's comedic gravitas without Kennedy's background, which is important.
Well, that means she could pass a background.
Yeah, that's what I mean, is what I'm trying to say. But no, I think Martha could do the gig, and I think she could do the gig really well. And I think part of the reason, my initial criteria for why you'd want this gig is what I was saying earlier. You need to have that gravitas, that intellectual gravitas that allows you to carry weight with both sides of the aisle. And doesn't allow them to shoehorn you in with one side.
Yes.
Meaning if you're running as a conservative, they're going to say you are laundering misogyny. You know what I mean? If you're a woman. Like they used to say you're the black face of white supremacy. If you were a black conservative, you're going to get subjected to everything known to man. Meaning if the first female president is a conservative, she's going to get Melania Trump. There's not going to be the accolades. You know, they're not going to, if a Democrat wins the presidency as a female, there will be North Korean forced crying sessions every day for at least 6 months. But if she wins, anyway, if someone like Martha with a run, you couldn't really do that to her.
No.
You dig? You could do that to our dear friend Harris Faulkner because Harris interviews Trump a lot. And although she's credible with both sides of the aisle, you can take her and say she's such a fox face and just try to disingenuously frame her as not being objective when she clearly is.
Don't go anywhere. More Kennedy Saves the World right after this.
I think Harris would be a good one, too.
No, she could do it. Dana could do it.
Yeah.
But they would hold, Dana being on the 5 every day, I think would get held against her. I'm talking seriously, in a way that the story doesn't. Because the story is, it's just you.
Yeah.
Okay, Dana's on with 4 other people. So it's almost like she gets grouped with the group instead of her own. If she only did America's Newsroom, she wins.
Yeah.
Because it's just Hammer.
Yeah.
And Hammer's just, he just wants to go to a rave in Cambodia. Who doesn't want to go to a rave in Cambodia?
I love him so much. He is the most extraordinary person.
Hammer will stop you in the lobby. You guys should all know this because we love Bill Hammer.
I love him. He's so smart.
There's no one we enjoy more.
Yeah.
Okay? And I truly mean this.
And there is a very special place on the spectrum for him.
He's fantastic. Yeah. Hammer was the kind of guy that'll stop you in the lobby and be like, you know what I'm saying, brother man?
Yes.
But that's hello.
Yeah, the conversation is continuing. You weren't a part of the first half.
He's had the first 3 sentences of the conversation with himself.
Yes.
You've been dealt into the 4th.
Yeah.
And
but that's how active his mind is.
Yes, and you eventually get to that. You get the Hammer energy down, and you do know what he's saying.
Yeah.
And you can make it work. So I think if it's a Perino with a Hammer running mate, I think she could carry 49 states. But I think if it's bagged together, I from the building would nominate Martha.
So I will tell you this, and I think this is very funny. We have a very attractive female colleague at Fox, and she's known as being one of the most attractive people on the channel.
Jessie? This is, I mean, I get it. I just want to keep up with the group. Go ahead.
Her husband is obsessed with Martha MacCallum.
Oh, really?
Openly has a crush on Martha MacCallum.
Is that true?
Yes. And his much younger, the wife, he and his wife are pretty much the same age. Martha MacCallum is older than both of them. And she was like, what do I got to do to get a little sexual respect around here? And he's like, and he even said, I don't know what it is about her. He's like, but Martha MacCallum drives me crazy.
They love her.
Yeah.
I want you to know this.
My old executive producer, Tim, not your current executive producer.
It was a Martha guy?
Tim loved Martha so much that every time she'd be on camera, I'd be like, huh? And he'd blush and be like, stop it. God.
Yeah, Dean. My buddy Dean, who you know well, Dean's film, by the way, as we're talking this week, is getting ready to premiere in South by Southwest.
Oh, congratulations.
And the guy who's directing this film that'll premiere at South by Southwest, literally, the last time Martha's on the show, he texted me, he's like, how do you interview her without accidentally asking her to marry you? I'm like, yo, what's going on here?
Oh,
so they do. They love Martha. They say everyone loves Raymond. Everyone loves Martha.
That's right. And you know what? that was the first person who came to my mind when I asked
Yep.
her that question. And, you know, you never know. This election has taught us you never know what the future brings.
Thank you. And if Dana runs, this is where I'll give Dana the caveat. I think she'd be the best president because she spent enough time in the White House and knows how to do it.
Yeah, and she reads a ton.
Yes.
She is so smart and absorbs so much information.
But every commercial, because I took this question way too seriously. It should have been a one-word answer, but I'm really I'm James Carville here.
No, I love it. I
But by
love
the
that
way,
you're really thinking about it.
Don't you love how every time they put James Carville on TV now, he looks like he just got caught masturbating in the fitting room at a Bass Pro Shop? He's got like a hat and a thing. You're like, this looks like a Florida man mugshot. He joins us now to tell us what the Democrats are doing
They're
wrong.
doing it all wrong.
Every time he's on.
I told them they shouldn't be talking about none of this stuff on the trains, people, and now they're paying the price for it.
It's true. But every time.
That's my pretty face.
This is every campaign commercial, though. This is how they would. I know how they'd run against Dana, straight up. They would only cut commercials where either Greg or Jesse were in the SOT saying something controversial that she laughed at in good faith, didn't necessarily endorse, but that stuff would be effective.
Yeah.
I know how they'd try to kneecap her.
Shame on them in advance.
Amen. But Martha is just a walking apple pie. She's as America. You can't do her dirty. Other than the fact that, honestly, that she hangs out with us. That's all they got. That's all they got. There's probably a video out there of Martha at one of my stand-up shows. That would be a problem. But, I mean, she probably laughed at something. But who cares? It's jokes.
No, exactly.
And nobody
that's the point you make throughout your whole set.
Yes, they're just jokes. And nobody in this moment we're living in ever wants to get mad at the comedian again.
Never.
The people, it's the worst
No, we've been
look. And now
we're not gonna hate cops. We're not gonna get mad at comics. We're not gonna sit down for the national anthem.
And now that society has seen what we looked like in that mirror, that's over. The cops are good.
Okay, so we're at a point where at the Super Bowl, a week and a day ago, they booed Taylor Swift and cheered President Trump.
Can you imagine how
If you had told me that a year ago, I would have said, you're out of your mind crazy.
It is so gonzo, but it's because we are course correcting.
They forced us to course correct.
Yeah.
They forced this. And now they're going to have President Martha. And I hope they're happy.
MacCallum 2028. I'm donating. Let's go.
Let's go. This has been Kennedy Saves the World. Have a beautiful President's Day, along with Jimmy Failla. I'm Kennedy.
Listen ad-free with a Fox News Podcast Plus subscription on Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Prime members can listen to this show ad-free on the Amazon Music app.
Oh, go ahead and leave me a review while you're there. I'd love to hear what you have to say. You've been listening to Kennedy Saves the World on the Fox News Podcast Network.